everybody. Welcome back to Bitch with Comrade Misty. I am, in fact, Comrade Misty. Today we have two members of the crew at the March for Medicare for All, and we're going to bitch about the witch. So we have Sukuru and Eric, and we're going to talk to them about Medicare for All, the actions that they have coming up. But first, before we do that, I want to, like I did last week, I talked about Artsy Marxist and her art page. So this week, I want to talk about my friend Krish Mohan. He's a comedian. He's hilarious. He's so funny. So he has a Bandcamp. All of his links and stuff are going to be in the description. Sleepy Josh put them in there. And I also have, if you guys want, I have a video that I can post in the chat, so you guys can go. He has like a compilation. Is that what I'm looking for? Of just like his work. It's like 6 minutes long. You guys can go watch it. But he also has a Bandcamp page, and he has a website, which all of those links are in the description. The like show notes part. So please go support Krish. You can buy his album. If you're gonna buy it, I think most of the artists agree that they like Bandcamp. If you are an artist and I'm wrong about that, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure like Jesse Jet, Krish Mohan, they all seem to like either their website, like their personal websites, or go to Bandcamp, because like Spotify and shit totally robs their artists. So please go support Krish Mohan. He's an amazing comedian. We're going to get him scheduled on the show. He was supposed to be on a couple weeks ago and had some personal shit come up. So we're working on that with his schedule. So yeah, just again, go check out his work. Seriously, he's hilarious. Oh, he is really funny. And he's nice, which we're going to try. We've already agreed when he comes on Bitch that he's going to try to be mean. So he's going to try to be mean. He's very funny. He said, I'll be mean, but then I'll probably apologize for it. He's a very nice guy, but he is hilarious. So please go support his comedy. I appreciate you guys checking out all of the work of the people that I talk about. Especially with the holidays coming up, buy Krish's album and give it to a friend or your family member who loves comedy or whatever. Go buy Artsy Marxist, go buy a painting for a friend or a loved one or whatever. That's how we can support each other. We can fund the revolution, y'all. Let's do it. We got to support each other. Anyways, yeah, please do go check out his links. Eric, Sukuru, thank you so much for coming on. I I love the graphic that was made for today.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi, I'm just gonna say it is my husband calls her the devil.
Yeah, pretty much.
I do too.
She's
The devil
horrible.
herself.
I said I was only going to go an hour because it's my kid's birthday, but y'all, there's a lot to bitch about with Nancy Pelosi.
Yep.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, where do we start, right?
I know. Well, we could start with the insider trading, or we could start with the fact that she was fully aware of the torture program and did nothing about it, or the war crimes that she's co-signed, or we could talk about the fact that she is standing directly in the way of Medicare for All. How did you guys get involved with March for Medicare for All? Because I emceed the Columbus rally that we had over the summer. So just maybe how did you guys get involved in the March for Medicare for All? I don't know. Eric, do you want to start? I should always I guess throw it to somebody, but
yeah, sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Today is a good topic to bitch about.
Yes.
My name is Eric Curry. Born and raised San Franciscan, organizer all my life, and currently running to represent the seat held by the Speaker of the House right here in California's 12th Congressional District. I was literally scrolling on Twitter one day, and I came across the March for Medicare for All. I think at that point, we were up to 5 marches, and I said, hey, sign me up for the march in San Francisco. Turns out they didn't have one yet. I was like, okay, now we do. And that was when me and my partner in crime, Sukru, kind of joined forces and pulled off the one in July.
Yeah. So wait, were you guys friends? Like, did you guys know each other before? Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. So you guys just joined up to create the San Francisco March.
Right. Yeah. So basically, Eric told a story that how I came in, but so kind of like a backstory is that I lost my job in February of this year. The job that I had for the last 20 years. Our company didn't survive the COVID. So, I lost my job and I lost my insurance. And it kind of hit me. I'm originally from Japan. And in Japan, as you guys know, we have universal healthcare. So like growing up, I did not think anything of healthcare because it's like air you breathe over there. Yeah. I mean, people, no.
No,
People
I'm laughing
literally-
because it's absurd that we don't have it.
I
It's
know.
fucking absurd,
Right?
you
I know,
In the
guys.
right?
richest country in the world.
Oh, it's fucking
People
absurd.
in Japan, people literally complain. Like you be having a conversation with person like who just came back from the doctor, and they go like, "Oh God, I paid too much today," and you ask like, "Okay, how much did you pay?" Well, I paid like $10. It was too
I
expensive.
paid for parking. You know what I mean? Like that's usually I've had to pay to park. It's usually something
Right,
ridiculous
right.
like that. Meanwhile, like we're getting like
Yeah.
$100,000 medical bills for like a sinus infection.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So Eric, raised his hand to do that march in San Francisco, and I was like, well, this is a kind of like a very immediate issue for me now. Because I mean, I am covered by Covered California, which is kind of California, affordable care, whatever. But yeah, but still, I am paying for my healthcare. Probably too much for an unemployed person. I've been unemployed for like 9 months. And so yeah, I just feel that we really, it's, as you said, Misty, it's ridiculous that we don't have free healthcare in this country. Richest country on the earth, and we don't have it, and we clearly see that like people, they can afford it. It's just that they are not willing. The government is not willing.
No, because you see, we have to blow up brown people in poor countries.
Right.
That's what we do with our
Right.
money.
Yeah,
We
right.
have to overthrow democratically elected governments and install puppet dictators and steal resources instead of giving our people health care. That's
Mhm.
what we have to do.
Right.
This country's disgusting. Like to me, it's okay. I talk about this all the time, and I know I sound like a broken record, but what the hell, y'all? You deserve better than this. We all deserve better. Like
Mhm.
it's so frustrating to watch people like why the fact that we're not in the streets like with pitchforks over this
Mhm.
is it's mind-boggling to me. It is insane that sick people can't just go to a doctor
Right.
and that anybody has any argument against that being a thing that happens. And I get that there's a lot of people who are like that don't want it to be government controlled, that want to give the power to the people, that want to make it people run, and I'm all for like I don't even care. Let's have that conversation, but people should be able to go to a doctor. We can fight about the delivery of the system or what we can have that conversation, but we can't even get our progressives in Congress
Right.
to fight for a floor vote, just a floor vote in the middle of a pandemic in the year
Mhm.
2021 in the United States of America, richest country in the world, as both of you have already mentioned, in the middle of a massive health crisis, whatever you believe about like this, God damn it. I'm self-censoring and that pisses me off. Whatever you believe about COVID, whatever you believe about the pandemic, it does not fucking matter.
Mhm.
The fact that we can't even get a floor vote on healthcare is
Right.
insanity.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
it's and this is while the upper 1% have taken in trillions
Mhm.
of dollars, and that's not me making that shit up. They shoveled money to
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
wealthy.
Yep.
Shoveled
Well,
it.
you're touching on this. The number of people who our for-profit healthcare system actually benefits is like, shareholders, big pharma, and then the
Yeah.
politicians who they sell out to is such a small, tiny number of
But they're the ones with
people,
the power. That's the
Mhm.
problem.
and they're killing us. They are
Yes.
literally killing us, and they will kill all of us.
Yes. If it
Yep.
means for profit, absolutely. They do not care. I mean, I think they've made that perfectly clear. Do you see what's
Perfectly
happening around
clear.
us? Do you see children with cancer have to go hold sell lemonade at on their sidewalk
Yeah.
to try to pay for their medical treatment? That's fucking nuts.
GoFundMe
Yep.
is
Oh,
the
yes.
most
GoFund-
popular
oh, yeah.
place
God.
to source medical bills, source funding for medical bills in this
Mhm.
What is
country.
happening?
Yeah. See, we should be all enraged about this.
Yes.
It's because GoFundMe. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, why do we have to go there? I mean,
Right?
it's just
people have
ridiculous.
to beg for like just basic human dignity. Like we have to beg to just be able to like try to survive.
Mhm.
I don't know why it makes me sad, because it feels like the American population, the American citizenry has completely allowed themselves to be beaten down to a point where this is what they're willing to accept for themselves. And it's sad, because your elected representatives don't represent you. They're actively working against you. Like Eric said, they're killing you. Like, that's not dramatic. That's not overly dramatic. People are dying. Because over healthcare, again, in the United States of America in the year 2021.
Right.
What is happening? That shouldn't be something that we're accepting for ourselves. Like, why people say I'm too angry and I yell too much. Like, they say that about Jimmy Dore.
No.
Like, y'all, why are you not this angry?
If you're not, you're not paying attention.
Right?
You know, I posted about this earlier, but I'd like to ask the two of you, just out of curiosity, how much were you taught about the French Revolution in school, if anything?
You mean like up at like through high school, like public
at all?
Not really anything,
right?
I don't think it was mentioned in my high school.
Passing mentions, maybe, like,
because I think that if we were taught, we would have gotten the guillotines out a long time ago. And then again, who knows? Because we spend so much money we give so much money to the military, so. Maybe,
well, let's not get it twisted. They spend a lot of money on propaganda. They spend a lot of money buying the media. They own the media. And people, like, they'll try to say I sound conspiratorial. Well, who's they? Like, when I say that they own the media, I'm talking about the ruling elite.
I was going to say, there's not very many.
No, this is like that. People try to say that makes me sound conspiratorial. Like, are you like pretending that there isn't a group of people who have a massive amount of wealth and power who are essentially controlling all of the leverage because they own everything? They make you think they sit in a boardroom and conspire? Yes. What the fuck do you think a board meeting is of any Fortune 500 country? They're sitting around conspiring how to take money, how to take resources, how to kill us all, how to collect more for themselves. They're psychopaths. These are psychopaths, and we've given them immense amount of power.
Right.
And they're killing us. And then we are arguing over the dumbest culture war shit rather than dealing with the fucking problem, which is the fact that we have a ruling elite that's killing us.
Right.
In
I mean, the media control, though. Sorry, Eric.
No, I was just going to say, in 7 years, by the year 2028, 2 investment firms will own majority stakes in all the corporations in the world. Vanguard and BlackRock will own people. So when Misty just said they can sit in a boardroom and get the majority stakeholders like that.
Yes.
And it's on our
I was going to say, I mean, media control is actually not even conspiracy, because it's like, that's like if you think like very logically about this, it's actually makes sense in a very bad way, because so case in point, I always like cite this because I'm from Japan, and so like when Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster happened in 2011, and what came after that, essentially the government didn't help people at all, because they conspired with TEPCO, which is the Tokyo Electric Company. And the TEPCO is actually the biggest advertiser in Japan. So of course, media don't talk about bad things about them because they don't want to lose their advertising dollars. And the same thing happens in this country. You know, I mean, if you look at like pharmaceutical companies, are really probably like, if not the biggest, but one of the biggest advertisers in this country.
Well, yeah.
And,
somebody just put together, I'm trying to find it right now. Somebody just put together like a montage of Pfizer.
Was it the doctors for
I saw that actually.
It was Whitney Webb tweeted. Whitney Webb, I saw tweet it. But it's like I'm trying to find. Oh, here it is. Yeah, there's like a montage. I wonder if I can I play this, Sleepy? I don't know how to do this. Share?
Yes. Just make sure. It should share.
And share audio too, though, right in the bottom. Dude, I remember.
Good job.
I am winning today, you guys. Legit.
All right.
Brought to you by Pfizer. Early start.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Pfizer. Friday night on Aaron Burnett Out Front. Brought to you by Pfizer. This week with George Stephanopoulos.
Oh my
Brought
God.
to you by
Yep.
Pfizer.
This weather report brought to you by Pfizer.
Today's countdown to the royal wedding is brought to you by Pfizer.
And now CBS Sports Update brought to you by Pfizer.
Meet the Press data download brought to you by Pfizer.
This portion of CBS This Morning sponsored by Pfizer. On how to find the hidden sugars in the American family diet. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Is brought to you.
See, that's how they do it, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm
I
Yeah.
was
telling you
thinking of a
guys, this
different
is
clip.
it's insane. It is insane what is happening, and it's honestly it's terrifying. It's really I don't even have the words, you guys. That's the most frustrating thing in my life right now is that I can't find the words to get people to realize how fucking terrifying that is.
Yep.
Oh god damn it. They control the way you think. That's not conspiratorial. Propaganda is unbelievably powerful. And they know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And they're literally controlling how you think. Again, I say it all the time. I'm not even talking about voting against your own interests. You are literally thinking against your own interests.
Yeah.
Most people. They're very
Right.
good at this. It's
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Boeing, like Boeing advertises on CNN. Who the fuck who watches CNN? You in the market for a jet? Like who's in the market for some like like weapons of war? Anybody?
Right.
Anybody watching? I mean, why is
Many of our
Boeing
members-
sponsoring the news? Like what the hell?
Many of our members of Congress own stock.
Yeah, I know. But that's the
Boeing,
problem.
Raytheon.
Here's the terrifying, even more terrifying part. Not only do the corporations and the ruling elite own the media, they also own your government. Fascism.
Yeah.
Say it with me now. I mean,
Fascism.
it's a huge like accumulation of power by a very small handful of people, and we're just like handing it over. It's insane and like cheering it on. Some people are cheering this shit on. Like they're excited, like they're mad because Facebook doesn't censor enough. And they're mad, you know what I mean? Like they want to be told how to think and what to think, and you're not allowed to question. And I mean, Jesus, y'all. Again, we don't have healthcare. Not anybody's doing anything about it. Nobody's fighting for it. I mean, we are, you know what I mean? But most people are just fine. They think it's normal. It's been normalized to have shitty ass murderous insurance companies as middlemen in between you and literally your like life, your health.
Right. Yeah,
But
and
send
they're like, like incremental changes, right? Like all they talk about is like expanding Medicare now, and then we are supposed to be happy about that.
Access.
Like, fucking kidding me? You know, it's like we are not happy about that. You know, no more incremental changes. You know, we need some big stuff right now. You know,
and we can do it. Like this isn't like a we can't. Oh my gosh, we can't do. Are you joking? Like we're supposed simultaneously. People are holding in their head the idea that we're the greatest country on earth, and then also that we can't do it.
No,
that's not how that works. You are not the greatest country on earth if you cannot take care of your people. Period. Like I don't know why that's even debatable. It's really weird when Republicans they're all patriotic and this is the greatest country on earth, and no, it's fucking not. Are you joking me? It's a terrible country. We commit war crimes all over the world. We can't take care of our own people. Like you people, you Republican voters, you can't take your kids to the doctor. Most of you, like you have to work 2 jobs. You know what I mean? Like it's not the greatest country on earth. It's a terrible country. We do not take care of our people. We do not. We're like constantly stripping rights away, and we're constantly, I mean, how many people do we have to blow up before like Americans realize, hey, we're maybe the bad guys?
I have talked about this with a couple of my friends, is that, you know, again, conspiracy theories, but where this is going, what could change a lot of people's minds is if we had a war here in the US, is if the war came and touched us here. You know, God forbid, but I think that Joe Biden is determined to make his legacy a war with China.
But it's not gonna happen here though, because they are like perfectly happy, like killing people overseas and let brown people, and black and yellow people fight amongst each other. So that's exactly what's gonna happen with the war with China. I mean, it's gonna be fought in the continent over there, not here. And you know, all of us, China, Korea, Japan,
unless China decides to fight, like fucking throw a.
I was gonna say,
well, I don't like. I would not fuck with China. We're fucking.
Right.
Really? We're gonna fuck with China? Really?
Why
That's the thing
can't
we're
we
gonna try?
partner with China and collaborate
can't-
with them?
Right.
You know what's crazy? These are like grown ass adults.
Oh,
Like,
I know.
and they,
I
like,
know.
you're gonna handle your problems by blowing shit up, and I'm supposed to respect you and admire you? Are you joking? That's not how people like
What was
grown
it?
ass adults don't need to blow people up to solve problems.
What is it?
It's
Speak softly
ridiculous.
but carry a big stick. Which Roosevelt said? The right? Theodore said that. Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. But it's really, I mean, y'all, I get mad, but I'm not ever mad enough to want to blow somebody up. Like, what is
Yeah.
wrong with you that that's your reaction
Right.
to any situation? Can't we just like use our words?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I actually want to point out though, like the amount of propaganda that's happening about China
Mm.
is just astounding, and it's so insidious that people don't realize that's a propaganda. But if you look at the news every day, and they point out China, they point the finger at China when they don't have to, because there are other countries who do the same thing, but they
Right.
specifically mention China. I mean, and actually, okay, so for example, like nuclear programs, that's not only China who is like having nuclear,
Right.
nuclear programs. Russia has it too. But nowadays, like, ever since Biden took the office, like all the news talk about is like China this, China that, China's doing
Beijing
this.
this.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just disgusting. As a member of Asian American, community here, I'm just very alarmed that this is happening, because like people are being manipulated manipulated to think that it's like perfectly justified, if we launch war against China, and it is not. We are being duped.
Well, here's the problem with the United States. We always have to have a boogeyman. This is how our country runs, on death and destruction.
Oh,
Like our
yeah.
economy is a death economy. Our economy is war, essentially.
Mm.
Our jobs program is the military. If you want healthcare, it's like the military. I mean, it's crazy how, and that's intentional. That's why we don't have healthcare. That's why we don't have college education, like free public college education. That's why we don't have those things, because it's a recruiting tool for the military. And our economy is literally run on death. And so, we always have to have that boogeyman. So before China, it was Russia for a while. That's where I got my Twitter name from.
Yeah.
And I think I honestly think that Russia was just being used
Yep.
because the propaganda wasn't, they hadn't gotten to a level where the public was going to be willing to accept increased tensions with China. We had to build up to that. We weren't ready for that yet. So we needed a placeholder. Russia's easy because of the Cold War bullshit. So we picked on Russia for a while until we were able to push some propaganda against China and get to the point where they can now start like almost openly talking about potentially starting a war with China. Like they're, you know what I mean? They're getting to that point where they're starting to allude to it even more. And yeah, it's nuts. It's pure insanity. Like for real.
The crazy thing is I can remember, like not detail by detail, but I remember when we invaded Iraq. The towers came down on my brother's birthday, It's like, it was his 7th or 8th birthday. And I remember this huge, huge pushback. I mean, here in San Francisco, we're in a bit of a bubble.
Yeah.
We're going to get in the streets. I mean, we used to a lot more than we do now, but hopefully we can bring that back and relieve the rest of the country of the devil herself. Mm-hmm. But I just think that is so insanely irresponsible, doesn't even begin to cover it, that, how much money did we throw away in Afghanistan? Literally flush it down the toilet. We have people in the streets. We have people who do everything right. Save up. Don't do without, live below their means, and then somebody gets a hospital bill, and then everything comes crashing down.
Mm-hmm.
The American people are in such desperate need of help, and we can only think about, oh my God, what's the next country? Who we're gonna bomb next?
Y'all, seriously. We're just blowing people up, and we can't, and we don't do anything for our people. That makes no sense whatsoever. I don't know.
Quite the contrary. Every time Joe Biden stokes anti-Chinese sentiment, Asian Americans here suffer. They're
Yeah.
the ones that take
Yes.
the
Yep.
heat for
They
it.
don't care. Joe Biden doesn't give two
Mhm.
shits about that. I
Yeah, so
mean,
much for
they were
you
fine
know
with throwing
VP being
Muslims under the
half
bus. They're
half
fine
South
with
Asian.
throwing
Yeah.
Russians under the bus. They're fine. I mean,
Mm.
yo, I spent 4 years of my life being called a Russian troll. I'm from Ohio.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm from Ohio. But that's, I mean, that this again, there's always a boogeyman because that's how our economy
Mm.
works. Like we have to have that next war so that, Boeing can make another $2 gazillion. And you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's so gross that we've allowed it to manifest this way. And, humans get this amazing opportunity, like to just, exist. And we could
Mm.
not be fucking it up more.
Right. Right.
I
Well,
could not
you know,
agree
there's so
more.
many things I'm gonna say right now, but like, can we just kind of talk about space program, the
Yeah.
space
Okay.
force?
Space
that we-
Force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we
I
bitch
mean,
about that,
come
please?
on. Yeah.
Jesus fucking
God,
Christ. We have a space
that's
force.
bothering
I
me
know.
so much right now. So I mean,
Ugh.
okay, like
I
why
know.
are we spending like so many dollars on space force right now? Like, can we don't we have like enough to do on this earth?
Yes.
Did you hear what Prince William said?
No.
Was it Prince
What?
William? That he
don't know.
called out the billionaires. He said something about how
like
we
he has room
shouldn't
to
be.
fucking talk.
I
Shut
know,
up.
I know.
Shut up. Oh, you stupid
No, but I mean,
royals. God
No
damn it.
kidding.
all this money that we are spending on space force, like the people in the companies who are benefiting from it, Jeff Bezos,
Yes, Jeff
because
Bezos
yeah,
penis-shaped rocket
Elon
into
Musk,
space for fun.
yep, Lockheed Martin, you name it, all these companies are getting benefit, but I mean, do we get benefit from that?
No, we're
No.
dying. We're
Not
dying.
just them, but all
We're
the politicians
struggling.
who are for sale and
We
own
can't afford a
stock.
Right.
2-bedroom apartment anywhere in the country on minimum wage. We can't, like, we're getting so fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're getting, it's honestly astonishing how little we're willing to accept for ourselves in this country.
Mm.
It's really astonishing. Again, the propaganda is strong that they've managed to convince people that this is the best we can do. That this is it.
Right.
This is the best we can do. Are you joking? Our country is a shithole. And you can get mad at me for saying that. Like I'm going to get a bunch of MAGA people super pissed off at me, and that's fine. You can be mad, but I'm right. It's a shithole country. We don't have healthcare. There's a homelessness crisis that is. I don't even have words for how awful it is.
Yep.
We don't have anything. We're not getting anything. We're not getting anything. Like they're not even flicking crumbs in our direction anymore.
Right.
$15 an hour, that's an insult.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
an
Oh, yeah.
insult to anybody who's working a job. That's an insult. Do you have any idea how much money is being made in this country? And
Yeah.
they can't give you more than $15 an hour? That's not enough for rent in any state in this country. And that's what we're fighting for. No,
Right.
that should be we should be fighting for like 30.
Yeah.
That's what you deserve, y'all. You run this
Yeah.
country. You run this country. Workers run this country. Like
And
people
nothing
run this
made
country.
that more clear and more evident than the pandemic. And
Yes.
when Joe Biden became president, I mean, I get it. I had illusions of, I was a little bit more optimistic than people
Really?
were, but to me, I mean, and don't get me wrong, Joe Biden and Kamala, they were the first Democratic ticket that I voted for president. First and last. Yes, only one. But again, to me, the optimism that I held out for, it was just so obvious that that's not the very first thing you do when you become president. 700,000 Americans out up to 750, 68,000 die every year. The best thing you could do, not only that, but also in your own political interest, like keep your party in power, you would think. Science.
No. Democrats don't really want
They're paid
power.
to lose. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
They want
Trump
to get enough
is the
power.
fundraising gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. Like they like to have like a little, like to be in control for a little bit. But then they also like to have if there's a president, they like to have excuses. We'll just say that. They like to have excuses. So whether it's, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, the rotating villain, or whether it's, Republicans are so mean they won't pass anything for us, or whether it's, we can't, whatever their excuse happens to be, that's what Democrats do. And they put like a nice face and pretty rhetoric on
Absolutely.
the same bullshit. and they sell it to you and they gaslight you and they, have all the right words to say. But they're the exact same as the Republican Party. They're owned and operated by this exact same people. They're working towards the same agenda. They just do it differently. The only thing that really changes is the rhetoric. That's really the only difference between the two of them. They're all
Right.
y'all, Joe Biden is worse on immigration than Obama, and Obama was horrendous on
Yeah.
immigration.
Mhm.
It's astonishing how bad it
Police
is.
reform as well, or what a
Everything.
lack of.
If you
police
think about it,
reform.
he's worse than Trump. That's objectively true.
Yeah.
That is just objectively true.
and that's
And that's
Right.
ridiculous. But it's like people will come for me. Come for me. I don't give a shit. I'm right. Again, he's
Yeah.
objectively worse than Donald Trump. I will die on that hill.
Right.
I will
right.
die on that hill. He
No,
is
there was
horrible.
a time when I might have disagreed with you, and I say, what was so bad about Trump is that the collective trauma that we all experience, especially if you're a woman, LGBTQ individual, person of color, just that constant being on edge. What's this idiot, the leader of the free world, going to say next that's going to cause me, to have to watch my back when I walk down the street? That's something, that's something to be said in itself. But I didn't see Trump taking us into war. I didn't see him necessarily stoking on this, anti-Asian sentiment to the point where, next thing
He
we're
was far
dropping bombs.
less hawkish than
Far,
Biden.
yeah.
He was far less hawkish.
Absolutely. He had a
100%.
big mouth.
Joe Biden
Right.
bombed Syria within 30 days.
Right.
But everybody will say, "Oh, but he pulled us out of Afghanistan." No, he didn't. He pulled ground troops out. It's now a drone war. The CIA is still there. There are still mercenaries there. Don't get it twisted. We didn't end a war. We did not end a war. We
No.
did not end a war. I'm so sick of people saying
No.
that. There were a lot of journalists who were running around talking about how we ended a war. No, we fucking didn't.
No.
No, we did not. We just redressed it. There's just a
Yep.
new cover on the same bullshit, the same death.
Yep.
It's a drone war. And Daniel Hale is now in prison right now because he
Mhm.
exposed the fact that our drone program kills 90% civilians.
Right.
And that's what we're doing in Afghanistan now. And that's what we're going to try to do everywhere now. We're going
Mhm.
to try to, drone war everything. Get the boots off the ground. It's much easier to sell a war if actual troops aren't dying.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just drone people to death all over the country or all over the world. It'll be fine, you guys. Oh, it's bad.
Since we are on the subject of Afghanistan, I just really have to say this actually, and because it has something to do with Nancy Pelosi. So if you check out the, I think September 29th article on the Atlantic magazine, so Nancy Pelosi is being interviewed. And there are many topics, but one of the topics was Afghanistan. So she was being asked, okay, what does she think about what's happening what's happening now to the women in Afghanistan? So Nancy Pelosi, she starts talking about, I don't know, something like rings, whatever jewelry that she's wearing, and she says, I've been to Afghanistan so many times. I've met so many women, including the craftsman or craft person who made this ring, and blah blah blah. And she's going on and on about this. And what actually drives me crazy about Afghanistan is that as soon as we pulled out, quote unquote, how quickly the narrative changed. I mean, we didn't go there for a humanitarian reason.
Right.
We didn't go there for that. But now, everyone's talking about what a great thing we did, while we were there.
Propaganda
advancing women of Afghanistan, right? And now we pulled out. Oh, what are we gonna do, for these poor women? Well, okay, let's get this straight. We did not go in there for that.
No.
We did not go in there to help people. We went
and we didn't
in.
help people.
No.
That's
No.
a lie. We
It
didn't help
drives
any
me
women. We
crazy.
didn't help any women. There were
Exactly,
no women
right?
helped.
I know.
Zero
Exactly,
women were helped.
exactly. I mean, please, whoever is listening to this right now, check out the article. Yeah, September 29th in the Atlantic magazine. It makes you vomit, but it's worth it. No, I mean, really, it makes
It just
you
sounded
sick.
funny.
Oh my God, yeah. What Nancy Pelosi is saying about women in Afghanistan, and yeah. Anyway,
I'd actually like to go ahead. Sorry.
no. Go.
You're
I'd
fine.
actually like to take it a step further that not shortly after, maybe a month or two after we pulled out of Afghanistan and we had the situation with the Haitian migrants at the border, I don't think it does that people realize that, number one, seeking amnesty is a right, is an international human right, which is what those people were doing. it put a whole new phrase, a whole new concept on the phrase "riding with Biden." But what sickened me was that aside from the fact that very few, if any, of our elected officials were willing to speak out about that, I did not see the same collective sympathy from the American people towards those people on our home soil than we saw for the Afghani refugees.
Yeah, we suck. It's such a mess. It is honestly such a mess. And I
In
don't
In a country
even know,
where we're all we all came here, except for the
Right.
slaves who were brought here, and the Native Americans who didn't
somebody
want to leave.
tweeted that earlier. Are you an immigrant? Like, are you a descendant of immigrants? Yes. If you're unless you're Native American or you're a descendant of enslaved people, you're an immigrant. That's it. We're all immigrants, and it's the fact that we have, we pretend like we welcome everybody. We're the breadbasket. We're the, you know what I mean? Like, and then when we destroy countries, and then when those people flee and have nowhere else to go, we tell them to fuck off. Like, hey, we completely destroyed your country. You've nowhere else to go. But we're going to tell you to fuck off and let you die. And, in a river or in an ocean or on a, border in the desert somewhere, we're just going to let you die. That's so fucked up. We are psychopaths. It's psychopaths, y'all. These are not good people.
Yeah.
That's it's a huge problem in humanity. We elevate the worst among us to positions of power. Real talk.
Absolutely.
And we have to
100%.
stop. If we could figure out how to stop doing that, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
We
starts
really
with
have
getting
to
the
take-
corporate money out of politics.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing.
That's where
Yeah.
it starts. It should
Yeah,
not be
yeah.
legal
Mhm.
for Kristen Sinema to go to Europe while her constituents, while there's still a deal to be made. If any of us did that, we wouldn't have a job to come back home to. They
Right?
would get fired on our butt so quick.
No.
just think about it though. They have like it's like single digit approval rating sometimes in Congress. How the hell do they still have a job? Like if
I know.
my
Yeah.
review comes back and that's what,
know.
dude, I get fired.
Right.
We would get fired.
Mhm.
And the fact that we just keep voting for these people,
know.
and we just it's pure insanity. I don't understand how we got to this position where this is how things work, but we really
Mhm.
have to figure out how to do something else.
Right.
Please. This
Yeah.
isn't working. It's not
Mhm.
working. And I'm up
Mhm.
for debate. Like, however, we can talk about where we go from here. But here's the thing. First, we need to come together and fight
Yeah.
the system that's killing all of us.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
We can have the debates about our differences later. Honestly, I'm fine with that. I'm willing to have a conversation with anybody about any issue. For the most part, like there are some people who they're bad actors. They're not and they're not decent people, and they're not looking for like legitimate conversation. I won't waste my time on those types. But if you're willing to have like an honest conversation about any issue, I'm willing to have that conversation with you. We may disagree like to the core, but I think we can have a conversation and we can have
Right.
those debates. But we cannot defeat a system as powerful as the one that we're under alone. We
Mhm.
have to
Have
come
to come together. Yep.
Absolutely.
We have to. We have
Yeah.
to. I mean, we can fight after we're done dealing with them.
Right. I agree. Yeah. Yep.
They have too much
Mhm.
power. It's bad. It's bad. And it's unfortunate that it's gotten to that point and it's that extreme, but that's where we are.
Mhm.
We didn't deal with it soon enough. Like this, where we're at. And
Right.
we're really far gone.
Mhm. Mhm.
I mean, we really have very little power in this system. In
Right.
any way. And now they're trying to take away our ability to communicate with each other, to learn, to know, they're trying to take
Vote.
control over information. You
Mhm.
don't have a fair election system. Your vote does
No.
not matter at all. And that's not debatable. I'm really tired of people pretending like if I say that the 2020 election was fucked, that makes me some weird QAnon conspiracy theorist Trump supporter. No, I just know that any election that takes place in the United States of America is fucked.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's not debatable. Our elections are garbage. I mean, garbage. They are not legitimate in any way. Like an 11-year-old can hack our software, which, by the way, is proprietary software that we can't audit. That's not a reasonable system for a democracy that's supposed to be
Right.
like open and fair and transparent. That's ridiculous. So no, me saying that the 2020 election was fucked does not make me a Trump supporter. It means I just know that elections are fucked.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, it's so ridiculous how people go off on that.
Right.
But yes, we need to come together. Like, as like painful as that may be, like you may have to like come together with people you don't necessarily agree with. That doesn't mean you have to go to dinner with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, find where you can agree and fight back.
Because at the end of the day, I think that we do have so much more in common than what divides us. We
Yeah.
have so much more.
Dude,
You know,
the propaganda in that whole, like, they work overtime getting us to hate each other.
totally.
Please, I'm
100%.
begging you, just like
Right.
strip it. Like, if you don't like me, fine, strip that away. If you believe Rachel Maddow is the perfect person, please shake that away. If you think that CNN is a reasonable news like source, shake all that off. Just shake it off for a second. Like, really, just like take a second, shake it off, take a deep breath, clear your mind, and then watch mainstream media. The propaganda is apparent. It is crystal clear, and it's very clear, that they want to have us fighting amongst ourselves. Because I mean, I keep saying, like, they would love to have a race war. They would love to have a race war. Anything to avoid the class war. Anything, whether it has to be a religious war, a race war, whatever they have to do, they'll do it. They just want to avoid the class war, and we have to stop letting them do that to us.
Right.
Agreed.
Because we really do
100%.
agree on a lot. Like, I say this all the time. I'm surrounded by Trump voters. I'm in small town Ohio, and they agree with us. I mean, if you talk to them with like respect and you don't like look down your nose because they voted for Trump, or these are not bad people. Like, they're suburban people who they've been getting fucked their whole lives too. And they've just been propagandized to be mad at the wrong people and the wrong things. I say it all the time. That's all it is. They're victims of different propaganda, and they're reachable. They are 100. I'm not saying all of them, because there are some who are way too far gone, right? But there's a lot of people that we are turning away. We're shooting ourselves in the own foot. These are people that we could be communicating with and trying to build bridges with and find common ground with, who are, they're decent, hardworking people who are willing to fight for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're done too. And we like side eye them and like pretend like they're lesser than because they voted for the wrong person and the wrong team. Well, your guys suck too. He's a pedophile. He's a rapist. He's a war criminal. Like, you're no better. You know what I'm saying? I hate that when people get mad because somebody voted for Trump and they voted for Biden, or vice versa. Y'all are both. Everybody's dumb. You're dumb if you voted for one of those two fools. Stop doing that. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so frustrating.
Yeah, no, I really agree. I mean, like, okay, so I probably have, or I definitely have more in common with, say, okay, I don't want to like make it a race issue, but like white factory workers in Midwest who may complain about immigrants taking jobs away from them. I have more in common with these people than with Asian millionaires, for instance.
100%.
Because I have the same issue, same suffering. The only difference that, or the problem that we don't see eye to eye with each other right now is that they believe, because of propaganda, they believe that their jobs are being taken away from, by immigrants or China, right? But as soon as they understand it's false, we can work together perfectly, because we have the same goal.
Yes.
We're
all being oppressed by the same people. That's my point, is that we can't even have, like legitimate disagreements until we deal with the people. They don't care. If you actually think Marco Rubio gives a shit about abortion, you're insane. He does not care. He does not care. All he cares about is maintaining power, doing as he's told, making his donors happy, trying to, he's a narcissist. He's a psychopath. He's a power grab. You know what I mean? Like, they all are. All of them. Ted Cruz doesn't give a shit about that stuff. Like, the fight between AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene is it's a soap opera. It's a circus sideshow. That's all it is. They all, I'm not saying AOC and what's her face are friends or anything, but like, it's not like that. It's very performative, and it's very like it's so dumb. Like, there was a video today or yesterday of Bernie Sanders walking out with Joe Manchin, and they pause and they pose for a picture, and it's just ridiculous. Like, Joe Manchin he's playing a role. He's playing a role. They're all playing a role. Like, even, I'm sorry, y'all, Bernie's playing a role.
Yep.
Please come to terms with that. I get that you like that it
he
hurts
is
your
not
feelings.
your Lord and Savior.
No, AOC is not either. She's playing a role. All of them are playing a part.
100%.
All of them. It's performative bullshit. They don't care about you. They're worried about themselves, maintaining their own power and position, advancing their own careers and agendas. They do not give a shit about you. None of them. None. Not one. Not even your favorite. Nope. Not even that one. They don't care about you. And we only have each other. And y'all spend too much time being mad at me for criticizing them than you do criticizing them. You know, stop it. Like, stop. Like, we have to stop going at each other. Start punching up.
Have y'all seen the movie A Bug's Life? It came out a while ago.
My kids love it. Yeah.
That is what is going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. Remember that scene where Hopper gets mad at his chubby little brother and he's like, well, maybe we don't go and terrorize the ants this time. And he shuts it all down. He's like, it's not about this. It's not about that. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Yeah. There are more of them than there are of us.
And the minute they realize that, this all comes down.
Yeah.
So
I can't believe that movie was allowed to be made, honestly.
Oh my God, I know. It was the first movie I saw in theaters. The very first
It's
movie.
like pro-worker propaganda, 100%.
100%.
Like, I cannot believe they allowed that. And like, my kids love it, and I love that my kids love it. You know what I mean? It's seriously like that. There's a scene, it's like in the bar. And he, like, the example that he uses, he pulls the thing out and he's like, there are more of them than there are of us, and he pulls the thing and all of this stuff comes out and he's like, we would get crushed if they realize, if they come together, we will get crushed. And that's exactly it. There aren't that many of them. Yes, they have a lot of power. That's what I'm saying. It's really bad. I don't know how effective we are even going to be at this point fighting back, because it's pretty bad. But yes, they have a lot of power, but that's we certainly can't do it in our own little like clubs.
Who held this country up during the pandemic that's still happening? Who held this country up? It sure as hell wasn't the billionaires.
No.
It sure as hell wasn't Congress.
No.
While they were sitting there twiddling their thumbs, it was the essential workers.
Right.
You know, it was the quote unquote illegal, which I don't know how anybody's illegal on stolen land, you know, but it was that who was holding this country up. So we absolutely do have a lot more power than we think we do.
We do.
Right. Yeah.
But you know, now we're at the scary point though, where they have a lot of power and they have a lot muscle. They have an entire police force across the country that is now militarized. They have a military.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't like to be, as AOC would say, a negative Nancy, but it is going to be like, it's not going to be easy. I'm not going to lie about it. Like, it's not going to be easy. But if we really fight back, it's they're not going to go easy, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know, Eric's right. I mean, the irony of it is that, yes, you know, essential workers are the ones who pulled through, you know, who moved this country, you know, during the pandemic. But, you know, look at the corporate profits. I mean, during the pandemic, like, virtually every corporation's profit showed up. And, you know, in effect, executives, CEOs, presidents of these companies got a bonus, right? I mean, you know, they got pay raise, right? But, like, what did workers get?
Nothing.
Thanks for risking your life.
Some crumbs, occasionally.
Right. And I mean, you know, I just can't. I mean, John Deere. I was like talking about this with Eric yesterday. I mean, they are going to take their healthcare away.
This is why we don't have healthcare. This is why we don't have, please listen, y'all. There's a reason we don't have healthcare. Well, there's two. They want to be able to use it in a situation like this as a weapon so that workers will not come together and strike. Because if you, that's why you see other countries striking all the time, because they have healthcare. Their healthcare is tied to their job. And it's very difficult to get people in the streets when their ability to take their kid to the doctor hinges on them keeping their job. But there's another reason also too, and I mentioned it earlier, is military recruiting. The two top reasons why people enter the military is because they need healthcare or because they want to go to college. And that's it. And we have like a poverty draft. So it's used as a weapon. Like, that's why we don't have healthcare. It's a very effective weapon against the people. And not only that, I should mention this too, the political parties are able to fundraise on it. They're able to use it as a political football for influence and like to get votes and to make big promises. I mean, how many times have we been promised healthcare and gotten jack shit? Like, we got the Affordable Care Act, which is garbage.
So it's a deal with the private insurance company. Have y'all seen Sicko? Have y'all seen Sicko by Michael Moore?
Yeah.
That every time that I mention these different movies, and then it's like, gosh, that was like more than 10 years ago. Like, this isn't a problem that happened yesterday. This isn't something that happened a few months ago. Like, we've been dealing with this for years,
decades.
people. and we
Decades.
send money to places like Israel so that they can have it, but we can't.
Fuck Israel. I'll say
Yep.
it. Fuck Israel. Israel is
with
an
you.
apartheid
Getting
state.
worse.
Committing war crimes and
hallelujah,
crimes against humanity, and Israel needs to be stopped. Period. Point blank. And no, that doesn't make me anti-Semitic for saying it. It makes
Thank
me a
you.
human being who's
Thank
tired of
you.
seeing genocide and oppression against
Thank you.
Right.
Palestinians.
And people,
So fuck off with your anti-Semitic bullshit. I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'll say fuck Israel because they deserve it.
Right. Yeah.
And by that I mean the government of Israel, not the people of Israel necessarily.
Mhm.
Obviously.
Right.
Agreed.
But yes,
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm so tired of anti-Semitism being used as a weapon against people. And so look at how it destroyed Jeremy Corbyn. No, we're not doing that anymore. Israel doesn't get away with that anymore. They're very good at their propaganda too. We need to start fighting back against that shit because the Palestinians are being crushed and it's not acceptable. It's fucking crazy. And we're funding that shit essentially. We're aiding and abetting in yet another genocide. And you know what I'm saying? God damn it, we suck. We are honestly the
And we're
fucking
getting
worst.
rich while we're doing it.
Yeah. That's our
Making
economy.
a whole bunch of money too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And propping up Israel. They have healthcare. Israel has healthcare. You don't
And
have
free
healthcare.
education.
Yeah. You don't have healthcare, but we're sending them gazillions of dollars. What is it, like $38 billion? It's like $3 billion every year or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it keeps going up.
I don't know. It keeps going up. Like, I don't even know what it is anymore, but Jesus fucking Christ. Why? Again, we don't have healthcare.
Right.
We, like our roads are falling apart. We don't have a jobs program.
Not only that, Israel.
Go ahead. Oh, he froze.
Oh, I think he's.
Israel has.
He froze. Oh, hold on. You froze a little bit. There you go. I think you're back.
Did I freeze? Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
Am I back? Oh no, I was just gonna say Israel has money. Israel doesn't need our money.
Right. I know. Yeah. That's the thing. But I mean, I guess they have money, but we just want to make a profit, right? So that's like it's a war business that we are in.
Yeah.
So
Joe
we benefit
Biden
from
made a
that.
floor speech when he was in the Senate talking about how every country needs their Israel, how that's the best investment opportunity one of the best investment opportunities the United States has made is Israel.
Yeah, they're very open about it. Like Joe Biden was like, you don't have to be Jewish to be is he fucking kidding me? Like, come on. You don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. I'm a proud Zionist. Like, that's what the fuck?
I know.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I mean,
Wow.
it's true. You don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. There are plenty who are not, but it's just that's like our president, and that's what's acceptable, and that's somehow we've been manipulated into thinking that we cannot criticize Israel and that what they're doing to Palestine is just like unmentionable, and it's rude somehow to talk about it. Fuck off. It has nothing to do with the Jewish religion. It has to do with the fact that I'm tired of seeing Palestinian people crushed again, and oppressed and brutalized and tortured. No, that's not acceptable. I don't care. Jesus. Oh, I get fired up about that one, y'all. I really do. I really am tired of it.
I'm with you, and coming from a Christian background, I'm from a very religious family. You look, objectively speaking, I mean, it's an evil, twisted game, but you've got to give it to them. The way how they mingled that up with the whole Jesus in a manger, and that's the Israel situation going on. I mean, it's evil, it's twisted, but man,
they're very good. I'm telling you. And Israel, like if you remember, I'm gonna forget her name. God damn it! There was a nurse who was killed, a medic who was killed. Oh God, I'm so bad at names, you guys. I'm so sorry. But it was years ago. A nurse who was killed, a medic who was killed while she was attempting to attend to injured protesters at the Great March of Return protests. And like within, I don't know, like hours, they had like a propaganda video out of like an edited version of her where they made it appear as if she was coming out saying something about being a human shield, and like was trying to justify the murder of a medic. And it was so quick, and it was I'm not kidding, they're really good at this game. They're really good at propaganda. Israel and the United States are kind of one and the same, so they're both very adept at what they're doing. And creating a narrative is like, it's what they do. It is what they fucking do, you know?
A lot of the residents came from right here, San Francisco. A lot of people that live in Israel now.
I know. Like they're kicking Palestinians out of their homes, and they're from Jersey.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Oh, and they act like it's justified. Like it's
okay. I know.
Like they're entitled to these houses. No, you're fucking not. Shut up. That's ridiculous.
But what about the Native Americans?
What do you mean?
Aren't they? I was going to say, if you use the same logic, wouldn't they be entitled to the land that we're on now?
Absolutely.
Yep.
But we
Yeah.
don't, but we don't make the same connection.
We should.
Mm-hmm.
It's indigenous peoples wherever it
Totally.
happens to be. I mean, in Australia, there's a problem with it. In Australia, Canada, everywhere, really.
Everywhere.
White people shit on indigenous people wherever
Yeah.
they happen to be. You know what I'm saying? We try to take over everything. We're colonizers. That's essentially been our role of all of human history. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's sad to admit, but I think white people need to come to terms with that. You know, we're colonizers. That's what we do. It's what we've done. We're like the world's bullies. We take over everything, destroy everything. It's terrible. Oh, God.
No.
And Nancy Pelosi's one of the fucking worst of them.
She's the ringleader.
Yes. Yep.
You know what
What,
I'm
like
saying?
34 years, Eric? She's been
Longer than I've been on
what
this
is that?
earth.
Yeah. It's like it's ridiculous. I mean, it's time for you to retire, Nancy. And it's not only Nancy either, though. Like all these like old people.
All of them. Grassley, McConnell,
just
Schumer,
give up your
Bernie.
seat. I mean, what's wrong with you?
Well,
why are you hanging
I can tell
on?
you what's wrong with them. They enjoy the power.
Yeah.
They
And
enjoy
money.
the power.
At
They
the
enjoy the
Yep.
money, the influence,
Of
the
the next
parties, the
generation.
connections.
Yeah.
At the
you know.
expense of our collective future.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
It
Because these
drives me crazy
people,
too.
they're all in the same little age range, and they're all gonna drop like flies. And then what's gonna happen?
That's actually
Mm.
somewhat of a wild card, actually, because you're right. They are kind of all in the same age group. But it seems like all these evil motherfuckers live forever, though. Like Henry
Yeah.
Kissinger is like 240.
I know.
And he's
I
still
know.
fucking alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it? Donald
Dude.
Rumsfeld? I thought he had already died.
Wait, Donald. Oh, when he died, you thought he had
Yeah,
already
right.
died?
I was like, didn't
Yeah.
that guy die like
He
twice?
should
already?
have. You know what pisses me off though?
Sorry,
Like
I
Colin
shouldn't
Powell
laugh,
died. Stop tone policing me about being honest about who Colin Powell was. He
They
was a
always
fucking
go
piece
as
of shit
heroes.
war criminal. I don't owe him civility. I don't owe him
Totally.
respect.
Totally.
Shut the fuck up. Like, I'm so sick of that being a thing. If you don't want me to call you a war criminal after you die, then don't be a war criminal when you're alive. How about that?
And
like,
let's not forget this. There's no way they would have lived as long as they had if it wasn't for the fact that they had good health care.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Like
There's
they've
no
inserted
way with
themselves
those
into a
weak
position of
genes they
power
got.
with amazing benefits and all the best of everything, and then they brutalize people all over the world. You're not a good person. I'm not going to protect you were just because you died.
Right.
Like stop with the tone policing of that stuff. It's so gross. John McCain was not an example of human decency.
Absolutely
He was a
not.
piece of shit warmonger, a war criminal.
A racist.
A racist. Like he bomb, Iran. Really? Like I have to pretend like he was a nice guy just because he died? No, absolutely
No.
not. Why would I? That's fake as shit. I'm not going to pretend he was something he wasn't. It's weird that people think that that's a thing you have to do. Listen, if Joe down the street dies, and maybe I met him and I don't like him, I think he's kind of an asshole. It would be dickish of me to run around telling everybody that he was an asshole, right? But Colin Powell,
Right.
Yeah.
He lied to get us into
and he's
war.
in a massive position of power.
Yeah.
Like Joe down the
Personally
street didn't kill
responsible
anybody. Joe down the
for
street didn't
thousands of
help
deaths.
participate in mass murder. Like Joe down the
Right,
street didn't.
right.
Maybe he's an asshole, but he didn't kill 500,000 Iraqis.
Right.
You know what I?
Right.
Colin Powell, it's a different level, and I can absolutely call him out for being a piece of shit because he was a piece of shit, and that's being generous, really.
Right.
Right.
100%.
That shouldn't
Yeah.
be controversial. When Nancy Pelosi dies, I'm going to be please as punch, and I'm going to talk about how she was fucking awful and that she did insider trading and she used her position of power only for her own personal benefit. Because that's true. These are true things. She is a horrible human being. That's not up for debate.
No.
Yep.
She looked the other way while our historically black neighborhoods were turned into toxic dumps here in
Right?
San Francisco. So she ain't done
And
shit for
covered
the
it up,
country.
right?
Yep. And she ain't done used federal dollars, right?
Yeah.
Billions of federal dollars to clean it up.
No, she
While
turned her
giving her
cheek, turned
nephew and
another cheek to
herself.
a torture program. A torture program. She knew
Yeah.
She knew that the Iraq war was a lie. She knew 100%, supported it anyway. Like these are this provable things that she's done. You don't
Mhm.
get to pretend like you're a good person. Like when Bernie Sanders would say that Joe Biden was a good man, a good friend, he's a fucking war criminal. If that's who you consider a good friend, you need better friends.
Totally.
Like you need better. What the hell is wrong with you? Joe Biden is he's a scumbag of the highest order. And not only that,
Mhm.
he's on camera numerous times being physically inappropriate with children.
Right.
And I'm
Yeah.
supposed to like no, he's not a
Right.
good
Mhm.
friend or a good dude. If that's who you consider good, you need to reevaluate yourself.
Mhm.
Like
He
people
made
try
it
to
so
You know
that-
what driving me crazy? So like, okay, so we are going to Nancy Pelosi's house to protest, right?
yes.
And actually, I have like kind of like moderate friends. I mean, I don't know if they are my
Yeah.
friends anymore, but okay, so here's like what they say, right? They say, "Oh, you know what? You know, maybe it's not a good idea to go to somebody's house
Oh,
because they are human beings too, and they have a hard job to do.
oh no, they
Maybe you
don't.
should be nice to, nice to her." Well, bullshit. Okay, I mean, she is a person of power.
Yes.
You know, she's a politician. I mean, her job is to work for us.
For us.
And
She's
she's not doing it.
her job.
No.
So, like, and also, like, Eric knows this. Okay, go to her office. She's not there. We
No.
can't go
Yeah.
there. We can't even like, deliver anything there. So that's why we go to her house to
And
make
the
our voices
second you
heard.
touch her property, the police come running out because heaven forbid you do anything to her property. She can kill
Right.
thousands of people just fine as long as you don't
Right.
touch her property.
This
Mhm.
this is what it's insane. Y'all going to their houses is the least we should be doing.
Totally. And you know what? You're one of the neighbors. You know
Police.
what you're signing up for.
Yeah, sorry.
I
like,
command better of your neighbors. I don't have any sympathy.
yeah, they should be out there protesting with us.
Right.
And the neighbors should, if you don't want us out here protesting, then get out here and help us protest for the
Right.
things that we need. Let's do that.
Absolutely.
That will never happen.
No.
No.
Rich people are never gonna come down. to
And
our
it could
level.
be their third or fourth house, so he even knows if they're
Right.
home anyway, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
maybe their employees, like their maids and stuff, we could probably get them to come out and protest because I'm sure they got
Right.
a whole ass staff. You know what I'm
Totally.
saying?
Right.
Oh God, seriously, it's ridiculous that these people have been allowed to acquire and amass so much wealth. And again, like Bernie, the CARES Act. Bernie Sanders voted for the CARES Act, and then he's on Twitter today talking about challenging the ruling class. You voted for the CARES Act, fool! Like, is he? Am I like? Why are people still taking him seriously? They shoveled money to the 1%. Like, not they couldn't give it away fast enough. Like there was it was like for some weird shit, like studying, some kind of fish in wherever, you know what I mean? Like just some weird ass, like just
Oh, I
giveaways.
remember that.
You know what I'm saying? Like just the most ridiculous giveaways. But the people got nothing. Dudes, we got nothing.
Right.
We got nothing, y'all. Nothing.
And those same people will tell you that, well, when I become a billionaire, I don't want to be taxed either.
You're never going to be a billionaire. Oh,
Right. That too. Yeah.
the
yeah.
or the temporarily inconvenienced billionaire argument is ridiculous. You are never going to become a billionaire. And here's the thing: they're making it even harder just to even get ahead a little bit. Like for the average
Right.
person, like they're narrowing or they're widening that gap. In you know what I'm saying? So you're never going to get like ahead of where you are now. Like
It's
they're
harder
increasingly
to
making it more.
become
Yes.
a millionaire
Yeah.
than it is to become a billionaire. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
yep.
this is the way the system is designed. It's not designed so that you can get ahead. That's not how it works. It's designed so that a handful of people at the top accumulate all the wealth, power, resources, all of that stuff.
On our
And they're
back.
greedy, and it's
Right.
never ever going to be enough. And
I
we're going to
know.
have to come together and stand against that, and and
Right.
take back the power. They've got it all of it.
No,
All of
you
it.
really hit the nail on the head when you said
Yeah.
like it's never going to be enough. And I think that's the part that people really have to start becoming very, very, very concerned about. It will never be enough. They will literally kill all of us. And if we don't stand together and fight back, we'll all be dead.
And that's why they're
Right.
trying to divide us. That is because they know that that's the case, that if we come together, they're fucked, because that's the only thing at this point that stops it.
Mm.
And they know that. That's why, seriously, a lot of effort is spent trying to divide us. A lot. There's a lot of time and money and resources spent propagandizing us against our neighbors, period.
Mhm.
That's like we were talking about earlier, that, you know, there are those Republicans who are mad because they think immigrants are taking their jobs. That's intentional. That's an intentional line of
Mhm.
propaganda directed at that demographic of people, because they know exactly how to keep us in our own boxes, and angry at each other and unwilling to come together when we disagree. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's seriously, they're really good at this game. They're
Right.
really, really good at this.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
you know, and it's something that I wish more people, and I don't have the words to get people to understand that that's really the front line of everything, because that's, if we can't even communicate with each other and effectively work together, and even just
Mhm.
like disseminate information, like they're trying to control the flow of information, the access that you have to knowledge, and you know what I mean? You know, if they, like, if Julian Assange is extradited, that they're essentially claiming global jurisdiction over information and journalism.
Mhm.
And that means anybody who prints or publishes something that they find embarrassing, they can claim that it's a national security risk or whatever, and they can arrest anybody, anywhere, anytime. Julian Assange is an American. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
We're charging him under our
Yep.
laws.
I
He's
know.
not American.
That's so, yeah.
What is happening? That's scary. People should be
Mhm.
scared about that. They should. They
Yep.
should. But
Mhm.
there's also
Mhm.
been a massive propaganda campaign against Julian Assange. So they're like
there
they've
was against
manufactured
Edward
consent.
Snowden.
Yes. I mean, they've manufactured consent for this kind of treatment. They've dehumanized him so that people are okay with what's happening to him. And it's fucking weird.
Right.
But they're
Right.
really good at it again. And I mean, we can bring this all back to Nancy Pelosi. She's part of it.
Mhm.
I mean, look at what she goes on TV and tries to sell the people in her drunken stupor.
I know.
Can we just talk about the ridiculousness of the fact that she's the Speaker of the House and she can barely speak?
No, she's gonna choke on her retainer or her dentures, and that's a national security risk. Honestly, she's gonna start choking, and then boom, there goes the speaker, third in line to succession to the president, choking on her freaking dentures.
Oh, you guys, she's old and she's a little
Yeah.
senile. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a drinking problem. She honestly sounds drunk like 84% of the
Right.
time.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Oh, Joe Biden. He can't even. You guys.
Time to go. Okay, time to go.
I mean, I told
Yep.
Tucker this when I saw
Yeah.
the lineup of, people, the 22 contestants who were, fighting it out. I was like, wow, anybody on that stage but Joe Biden. Who
Right?
ends up making it? Joe Biden.
Dudes. Okay, so they Bernie Sanders is like, we're gonna reform the Democratic Party, right? And then
Can't be
they
done.
nominate Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You
Can't
didn't
be done.
reform shit, dude. They're worse now than ever. They're
You know,
worse than
honestly,
ever. And
And
the
I don't know why
reforming of the
Republicans
party,
are mad.
failure. You failed. If you were trying to reform the party, you fucking failed. Admit it and move on.
He's conservative as shit. Like,
Mhm.
Biden? He's
Yeah!
he's Captain Crime Bill. And then he
Like-
picked a cop for his running mate
I
in the
know.
like Black Lives Matter time. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I know.
like we're all like police brutality is on the front of everybody's thought. Like,
Uh-huh.
and we Captain Crime Bill and the cop. That's who we got from the Democratic Party. Dude, that's a Republican ticket right there. That is a purely Republican ticket. Please tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not.
Hey, but she's the first woman.
And yeah,
Hillary
she's
would have been the first woman too. First woman.
I can't tell. I have
I
daughters.
can't do this.
And I can't tell you the number of times people have
No.
said, "Oh, well, aren't you happy though that they have like somebody that they can look up to?" No. If my kids looked up to Kamala Harris, I would feel like a
Mhm.
failure as a mother. I would feel like a failure as a mother. That is not no. Just because she possesses a vagina or she identifies as a woman does not mean that she's admirable or a role model. She is a horrible person, y'all. She it keeps prison labor and like pays prisoners $1 a day to go fight fires, and then but after they get out of prison they can't go work for the fire
Right.
department. She did that intentionally. Like her people went to court and was like, oh, we can't let these people out early, that's our labor force. And, like, they admit it in court. She denied healthcare treatment to transgender prisoners. She there was a guy that they knew he was innocent, and she like withheld evidence. Like she protected a bunch of pedophile priests. She's a terrible human being. I don't care if she's a woman. You think that matters? She's gross. No, representation isn't everything. It's not everything.
Not that kind of representation.
No, no.
Yeah.
No, she's like, it's like Ilhan Omar saying that she idolizes
God.
Margaret Thatcher. Almost said
Oh
Madeline
God.
Albright.
Oh no.
Does it matter? It's
Yeah.
the same thing. But yeah, Margaret Thatcher, sis.
Oh,
What the
God. I
fuck?
know. I couldn't
know.
believe my eyes when I
Not
read
like
that.
Shirley
Oh my God.
Chisholm. Or was that
Right? There's
Like,
a lot
not-
of amazing women to choose from.
Yeah.
A lot. Like there's a
Yeah,
lot
no
of just
kidding.
incredible women throughout history that you could. Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah, where
And-
did that come from?
She tried to play it
Wow.
off as like for feminist reasons, like, oh well, she like managed to get to a position of power, and like that was
You're
like,
just digging
are you
yourself deeper in
joking
the
me?
hole, man.
Yeah, there's nothing feminist about idolizing
No.
Margaret Thatcher. She was horrible for women. She
Mm.
did unbelievable amounts of damage to women. Are you joking me? Like that? Oh,
And
the
she
id
was a
poll
murderer.
bullshit. Yeah, the
No.
id poll bullshit that
She
they
was
all
the
try to pull.
UK's. She was the UK's Reagan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And a progressive. And I'm supposed to keep going on with the charade that these are progressives. Y'all. That's ridiculous. AOC voting for the Iron Dome. That's
Oh,
not
God.
progressive.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
AOC
I know.
deferring to caucus leadership on a coup in Venezuela. That's not progressive. AOC remaining silent on the illegal bombing of Syria
Mm.
multiple times now. That's not progressive. Like, why are people trying to continue to try to persuade me that these are progressives or leftists? That's even more laughable that they're leftists of some kind.
Mm.
They're not leftists. They're imperialists. Like
Right.
they're
I,
opportunists.
I recently read the autobiography of Alicia Garza, one of the co-founders of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mhm.
There's a part in there that I really like where she talks about when you go to vote for president, you have to think about it as choosing your opponent. You're always at an advantage when you're able to choose your opponent. And I think that that's the way we really have to start looking at every single person we go to vote for. They are not your friends, period. Just get that out of your mind. I don't care how they smile,
Or just stop voting. Like it's a charade. Your vote doesn't fucking matter. We need to start organizing outside the system. We need to start, building mutual aid networks. We need to be serious about building
That's for sure.
communities
Mm.
because the system is rigged. It's completely corrupt to its core. You cannot vote your way out of this. It doesn't fucking matter. And it doesn't fucking matter who's president. I think that's been made perfectly clear by
Yeah.
the fact that Joe Biden is no different than Donald Trump and in many
Mhm.
ways worse. So it doesn't matter who's president. The agenda remains the same. Again, they're owned and operated by the exact same people. All that changes is the rhetoric. So, I mean, do you want like mean tweets or do you want Joe Biden to embarrass himself? And he's an asshole too. He yells at people in public, and they try to make him a little bit more presentable, but everybody knows that he's an asshole. He's known for being an asshole. So it's really no different. The only thing is that they don't let Joe Biden tweet. That's it. Like there's no mean tweets. It's the only substantive difference, really. You know what I mean? They're the same person. And so it doesn't matter who's president. And really, if you look at Trump's policies compared to Obama's policies, they're the same. It's essentially the same. Slight variations because when Republicans are in office, different things are focused on. They're able to push different things through based on demographics and propaganda and all of that stuff. And then when Democrat, you know what I mean? It's a good cop, bad cop. They play off of each other. It's all kind of scripted and, it's professional wrestling.
Yeah,
There is
yeah.
no difference. There's
Yeah.
no difference whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I mean, I completely agree with you, Misty. I think what we need is like mass mobilization of working people coupled with mutual aid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
we need mutual
100%.
aid, and then we need to start. The strikes that are happening now, we need to like start building off of that.
Yep.
And we need a massive mutual aid network before
Yeah.
we attempt some of these strikes. And in my personal opinion, there's a lot of talk about general strikes, and I think that that's maybe potentially workable. But I think in a country this big, we may be better off doing targeted strikes of like specific industries that will impact the economy on the greatest level, like trucking or airlines or whatever. I think if we do some targeted striking, I think that could be just as effective, maybe more effective and easier to sustain, because once we go into a strike situation, you can't back down.
Right.
You
Right.
cannot back down. You have to be
Right.
in it, and you have to stay in it, like feet firmly planted. Because if you back down, if you lose, if you cede any ground whatsoever, it's very demoralizing to the movement.
Not
So
only
once
that,
we
they come back twice as hard.
Yes. So
The
we need to make sure
corporation.
that we're prepared and ready for a sustained movement. And I think that doing targeted, mostly because this country is huge. So sustaining like a massive general strike might be more difficult in terms of mutual aid. But if we do more targeted strikes on, like I said, those industries that really genuinely impact the economy on the biggest scale, that might be more effective, at least, on like a pragmatic level. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah,
agreed.
like
Yep.
I just don't just getting people to realize that that's where we're at is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
I
people
agree.
on board to make that kind of a leap, because that is it's not going to be easy. I mean, I don't think anybody should sugarcoat it. That shit's not going to be easy. And we're going to have to really stand together and take care of each other, and have each other's backs, and refuse to back down. I mean, that's really
Right.
what we have to do. And it'd be cool, like you said, that most of Congress is in the same age range, and they're all going to start. I mean, just natural progression of life. They're going to die sometime. And that's kind of a wild card, I think, because if there's like a massive, but seriously, I am very hesitant to even say that it's even like potentially positive, because in the system's corrupt.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it with the squad.
Right.
They aren't any different. Like, they just completely capitulated.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they've been absorbed into the system entirely. And
I mean, Nancy herself was for Medicare for all
yeah,
years and years ago, but
yeah.
She learned
she
the
kind of
rules
morphed
quick.
into,
Yeah.
she morphed into
I mean,
a
hell,
witch,
Bernie
you
know,
Sanders
and
used
we
to be
know-
for
we know
Medicare for
why,
all.
right?
He's not anymore.
Right.
I mean, Bernie
right.
Sanders is even talking about expanding Medicare.
I know.
And access, and like this is Bernie
Mm.
Sanders. I mean, that was like his signature. Pramila Jayapal wrote the damn bill, and she then like went on like camera and was like, "If we fight for this, it could really hurt our movement." It's your bill. You wrote a bill that you didn't even intend to fight for, like on a signature policy of progressives, and I'm supposed to take you seriously? Like, what the fuck?
She was
No.
praising Joe Biden yesterday. She was doing a wonderful
Oh
job.
God, yeah, I
Oh,
saw that.
I have
Yeah.
so much admiration. Go fuck yourself.
Oh.
Oh God, yeah, I saw that.
And
Yeah.
people get mad
yeah.
at me. They get mad at me for
I know.
criticizing
And
that.
they praised her, right?
Yes.
And all these
But it's
people,
our job to criticize them.
right?
I mean, it's our
Right.
as a citizen, we have to criticize
Totally.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
We have to hold them accountable. That's
Yeah,
part of the job.
we can't
description.
put like politicians on a pedestal. That's
No,
not what we
that's-
do. No.
We've celebritized our politicians. I call
Yep.
them celebriticians.
Mhm.
And we like
Celebrification.
yes, they're a brand. Like AOC is a brand. Ilhan Omar is
Right.
a brand. Like, they're brands now, and there is no accountability. Like, it's kind of like this teen idol kind of thing where how dare you talk about my favorite Backstreet Boy? You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, it's kind of like on that level where they really are like they have like celebrity fandoms, and it's ridiculous. These are politicians. They're human. They're
Right.
fallible, and not only that, they're experiencing an intense amount of pressure from the other side, from lobbyists and from Nancy Pelosi. And like, so these progressives that we've, fought so hard, like somebody tweeted today, aren't you so angry that we fought so hard to get these people into Congress and nothing is happening? Well, yes, you fought that hard, but then you get mad at me when I criticize them and when I try to hold them accountable for their bullshit votes on expanding NATO. That was one of AOC's first votes, was to expand NATO. And I'm just supposed to ignore that and praise her and pretend like that's not disgusting and that's not progressive. And it's really weird. It's really weird that people aren't willing to hold progressives accountable. And I know that the right also experiences that. Like, there's a certain, segment of the right that doesn't want to criticize Republicans in Congress because, it's a team mentality. That's what it is. It's this weird team mentality.
Right.
And it fucks everything up. It's why we allowed politics to become like Hollywood is not a good idea.
Right. I agree.
And corporate owned.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea. We shouldn't have done that. We really fucked up, and now we need to figure out a way out of that. And that's a debatable thing on how we go about that. Some people think electoral politics is the way I don't think so. Not in the system.
I say this
Christ.
as somebody who's running for Congress. You know.
Yeah.
So-
No, I'm not saying. I think that running is still like maybe a worthwhile venture if you're able to get some
Right.
attention to certain issues.
And
If you're
push
able to get
certain
out
issues
there.
forward.
Yeah. I think that there's some value in
Absolutely.
that, but I don't think that people should look at that as a game changing or like that's not going to be where we get change. It's not.
Right.
It's just not.
Mm.
It's the system really is too corrupt at this point. So, but I mean, I think that anytime that you can get attention drawn to the actual issues, it's a very, very good thing, because that's the information blackout is the biggest. Again, like I said earlier, that's the front line. They control the narrative.
Mhm.
And so we can't even talk to people about legitimate concerns that we all have
Mhm.
Right.
because they're spun on CNN and they're, you know what I mean? And so that's like anybody that can get out there. And that's why I get so angry when people get pissed off at like Glenn Greenwald for going on Tucker Carlson. You should go any fucking where.
Mhm.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Go
Yep.
anywhere and talk about leftist issues. I don't care. Tucker
Mhm.
Carlson's a piece of shit. But if Tucker Carlson wanted me to come on and talk about Julian Assange, you're goddamn right I would go on Tucker Carlson and talk
Use
about
him
Julian
for his
Assange.
platform.
Are you kidding me? I'm
Reach a
100%.
whole audience of people who you would never be able to reach. Think about it that way. How are you going to
Dude,
get
I
into
will
those
exploit
people's
Tucker
ear,
Carlson
you know?
for his platform.
I agree with you.
100% I will use him for his
Mhm.
platform. I don't have to go to dinner with him. I don't have to like him. I don't have to think that he's right about anything.
Totally.
But if I can go on and talk, he gets like 3 million viewers a night. If I can go talk to
Right.
3 million people about Julian Assange, fuck yes. Sign me up
Mhm.
today. I'll go. I'll
I
go
agree.
anywhere. You know, I don't care. And if you actually care about getting things done, I don't know why you would pass up an opportunity for a
Mhm.
platform to talk about your issues and to spread, you know, what your message is.
Right.
As long as you're like solid in where you stand and you're like, I'm not gonna go. Tucker Carlson's not gonna like sway me. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I know what I stand for. I'm gonna go talk about Julian Assange. I'm gonna say what I
Mhm.
need to say. And if he's gonna give me the space to do that, and I can like spit some shit out that's you know truth that nobody ever gets to hear that. They don't talk about Julian Assange on mainstream media. Yeah, I'm gonna go. It's really weird that people get mad about that. It really baffles me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Speaking,
You know?
I do have to get going in about 7 minutes.
No,
but
I need to. I was only gonna do an hour because it's my kid's birthday, and then we got like
we got
I get
late.
fired up.
Right,
I get fired up, you guys.
But
That's what
I do just
happens.
want to say
Right, right.
on that note, thank you so much for lending your platform, Ms.
Yeah.
C. It really is on the independent journalists such as yourself, the independent media, to get the word out, because as we've been saying, this stuff is not being covered by the mainstream.
Mhm.
They
No.
don't want us to know that people, the working class, are uniting. They don't want us to know how we're being screwed over. So I just want to thank you and all the other
Well, tell
independent
everybody
Yeah.
about
people.
the actions that you guys have coming up, so that everybody can like figure out how they're going to get there, where they're going to go. The website is in the show notes, everybody. And then everybody's Twitter handles you can find on there too. But tell everybody, I know that you have the Day of the Dead coming up. So talk about what that is. That's outside Nancy Pelosi's house, right?
Right. So we're meeting at noon at Alta Plaza Park. After we will march in a funeral procession to honor the 68,000 that die every year of preventable health causes. We're going to march to the front of Pelosi's house, have our action, and I'm going to let Sukru continue in a little bit. But basically, we hope that this is not the only action going on. This is happening in San Francisco at the Speaker's house, but www.m4m4all. Please join us. Please reach out. Even if you're just one person, we will help you plan an action in your city. I'm going to pass it on to Sukru.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, pretty much like as for the San Francisco action, I mean that's all Eric talked about that. But as a coalition, March for Medicare for All, as Eric said, we are continuing on on a series of actions. This is not the end. Obviously, there is Pfizer action in New York planned for November, and also December. I mean, we are not releasing that yet, but December, because it's Christmas, and Christmas, what happens is, right? If you are like a good, if you're a good person, good child, good kid, for the whole year, you get present. But what do you get? If you're bad. So on that note, we are planning another action, And also like 2022, I think, it's an election year. I think we have to escalate
Absolutely.
corruption. And we are planning to do direct action training nationwide, starting with New York and San Francisco and LA. And we are training people to do direct action so that we can have bigger impact on this important issue, Medicare for all. So, we're going to continue with that. And also, okay, before I go, I just want to do our
Yes.
announcement. This
That's a
is
dope shirt, and I need one.
beautiful T-shirt is limited edition for Day of the Dead.
Is that on the
we can-
website?
Huh?
Is that on the M for
Yes,
A?
yes.
The M for
M for all.
I put it in the chat.
.org.
Everybody, go to the
Yep.
shop on the
Yep.
website.
It's $25. Yeah, it can be yours for $25. Yes.
Yeah, I need one.
Yep.
I need one. I'll put the shop thing in the chat too. So everybody, that's
Right.
easy.
And
Yeah,
if you
I'm gonna
are
have to go
able
get a
to
shirt.
make it out to San Francisco, the more the merrier.
Yeah, or start your own
Yeah.
protests. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yay.
Do
Let's do
it.
this.
Find
Let's
your
take
local.
our country back, folks.
Yes.
Yep. Stand on the street corner with the sign and expose your representative how much money they are getting from the healthcare
Yes.
industry. You can all find that information on our website, by the way, or soon. Not right now, but soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's easy to find out. I mean, I can
Open secrets.
Open Secrets is a really good
Right.
resource for that. But I mean, they're all
Yep.
taking something. So yeah, go find your local representatives, stand outside their house. All it takes is a poster board and a Sharpie. Seriously, that's all it takes. Grab a couple of friends and go. That's how we're gonna have to do it. It's gonna have to be mass public pressure. Anything we're fighting for, it's going to take mass public pressure. But thank you guys for coming on. Twitter handles are also in the description below. The only thing I have before we close out is next week we have Koi Contrarian. You guys probably know him on Twitter as Koi Contrarian. He's coming on next week. He has a really fun story. So that'll be awesome. I've met him. He came to an Assange protest in DC. So that's going to be fun. And what else do I have? Oh, as always, go to Sleepy Josh's Twitter page at abortu, ABORTU. He has a buy me a coffee link. Please go and support Sleepy Josh, best tech ninja. That's so hard to say fast. And I talk too fast. Best tech ninja in the business. And I love him. And I couldn't do this without him. So please go support Sleepy Josh. And again, one more time, go support Krish Mohan. I put all of his links in the chat. They're also in the show description. He has a highlight reel on YouTube you can check out. You can find his albums on Bandcamp. He also has a website, Krish Mohan, haha.com. He's an amazing comedian. And he also has, he does YouTube shows and podcasts and stuff. I've been on his show before. It's a lot of fun. So go support his work. He probably has a Patreon too. However you can support Krish Mohan, let's do that. Like, that's the idea of me doing this kind of like, I don't know, it's not really a commercial. It's not like, I don't know, I'm just trying to hype my friends and, we can fund the revolution that way. So go support Krish Mohan. Last week, we talked about Artsy Marxist. You can go support her artwork as well. You can go check out last week's episode to find her information. And I think that's all I have for you guys. So thank you guys both for coming on. It was awesome. This was a fun, like, bitch session. I feel better already. So it's like therapy.
Yeah. Thank you for making it fun, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
These
Thank
issues
you,
are so
Maxine.
depressing, but
I
you make
know.
it fun.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we need it.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good. It's not always fun, but it's fun. It's fun to bitch about because it helps me feel
Yeah.
better. Like, getting it off my chest makes me feel better. That's why I do this. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Again, thank you, Sleepy Josh. I love you. Go support Sleepy Josh. Go support Krish Mohan. And then support the March for Medicare for All and their actions. Support the San Francisco. Go buy merch. Whatever you can do to support the movement, go do that. And we'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.